Good evening, folks. This is Deb. So I had planned an entirely different video, but things have changed rapidly in Washington. And Chuck Schumer tonight announced that he will allow a vote on the budget, the continuing resolution. Now, before everybody gets up in arms over this, what he is doing is allowing a vote on this. Okay, he's not blocking it so that the government shuts down. And there's reasons for this. All right, so we have to look at this from a different perspective than when the government shut down under Trump the first time. Okay. This is a Trump 2.0 is a whole different animal. Okay. You've seen it. You've seen, I mean, over 100,000 federal workers laid off randomly just by a guy outside the government named Elon Musk and this bogus operation called Doge. Okay. So there are several Democrats who believe that, yes, the CR is bad. And if they had more legislative power and they were in charge of the House and the Senate, they could stop this and keep the government open. But right now, they're in an impossible situation, regardless of the fact that people keep saying Schumer hasn't got any balls, he hasn't got any guts, nobody will stand up to the Republicans. And I've sanity checked this with people outside the government and outside my little echo chamber as well. Shutting down the government would actually give Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Doge, and Russell Vought, who, as we know, is the head of the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, and also the primary architect of Project 2025, much more control over the federal budget because there would be nobody in session. So people do need to understand the grave reality here. This is not, we're not in normal times here, okay? And when I hear people try to justify certain things like this is something we can work with, it isn't, okay? We are in a situation where the Democrats have a choice between something that sucks and something that sucks even worse. And ultimately, allowing Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Doge, and Russell Vought even more control than they already have exercised while they're in the middle of a government shutdown would be totally disastrous, okay? And I understand that position now, okay? I hadn't thought of it that way, and I actually had somebody from the legal field point out to me that part of what could happen in a government shutdown is the courts could shut down or at least be hampered by the fact that many of their staff would be gone. So the courts are primarily the way we have been fighting Donald Trump and winning. So we're just in a bad spot, folks. And I don't know, I wish I could tell you I am in the militant zone. There is absolutely no question about it. I am about as far to the left as you can get. And I've always been that way. But I'm looking at the reality of life, okay? And what happens when 72 or 73 million people can't get a Social Security check? Because right now you can, okay? In fact, because of the backlash of the American people over Elon Musk and Doge wanting to shut down the ability of people to get their claims through Social Security by phone and lay off 7,000 people, they have completely backed off that. So that's a good thing, which proves, by the way, that activism does work. But in a government shutdown, all of those bets would be off. He might just decide to do that while nobody's there watching the henhouse, okay? So I do understand that position. And the best thing I can say to you is this. I realize now when I post videos, if I'm talking to you about taking action, a lot of people don't bother to look at my videos because people don't want to do stuff. But you know what? We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to call. We're going to have to push. We're going to have to argue. We're going to have to fight for our very lives. And come the midterms, we have got to win the House back. But you know what? Let me just tell you this. We can take steps in 2025 to win the House back. We have 2 special elections in Florida on April 1st, and one coming up in New York. We don't have a date yet for that. These are the fill seats of people who were taken by Donald Trump for his cabinet. So we can win 3 House seats. Now, let me explain something to you. In Florida, I want to give you some numbers. 21% of Florida's population are 65 years and older. Those are the people that Donald Trump's actions are hurting. 22.1% are foreign-born immigrants, the other group of people that Donald Trump is trying to hurt. In addition, 10.3% of US-born citizens in Florida live with at least one immigrant. And immigrants account for 37.9% of entrepreneurs in Florida, 25.3% of STEM workers, and 48.7% of healthcare workers. Florida used to be a blue state before it became infected with the conservative gene. We need to win Florida back. Look at folks, all of you Latinos that thought Donald Trump was going to help you, it should be quite clear now that he has no intention of helping you. Okay? Ladies, 53% of white women voted for Donald Trump, even after he bragged about overturning Roe. And he continues to abuse women, a man who is a sexual abuser. Ladies, you have to know who your friends are. It is not the Republican Party. They offer you nothing. Farmers. Donald Trump isn't going to help you. We have a chance to take 3 seats back now. This is how the democratic process works. The democratic process does not work when 90 million voters don't bother to vote. That is primarily why we are here, because they said the process of the candidacies was too much of a shit show. Well, we're in the shitter right now. Now you're looking at fascism. That might have been a shit show, but the Democratic message was clear. You had a choice between fascism and democracy. The American people, by staying home, chose fascism. Now we need to get ourselves out of this. So I'm asking you folks to share this video, get an understanding of where we are, and understand that we, the people, need to take action. And by God, if you're unhappy with a Democratic candidate, that's what primaries are for. Every single House rep is up in 2026. If you're unhappy with a House rep, you're unhappy with, I don't know, Jared Golden, who supported the CR in the House, then push the main caucus to primary him with a more progressive candidate. If you're unhappy with Jared Moskowitz in Florida for censuring Al Green, push the Florida Democrats to primary him. This is how the process works. It doesn't work when you check out or when you turn around and decide to vote for the other side to teach the Democrats a lesson. The only people you hurt when you do that are the people and yourself. Let's get our shit together and let's turn the tide. I will talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, folks. This is Deb. Look, I'm back again. Okay. Let me tell you, I spent a very fitful night trying to sleep last night. It was difficult because, for one thing, I'm a person who is very much affected by what the Republicans are trying to do here. All right. I have spent 55 years working and paying into Social Security. So understand that I have a dog in this fight, but you know something? Whether you're my age or whether you're 20, you have a dog in this fight too. Your future depends upon remaining engaged. So let me explain something to you, that I understand both sides of the Democratic Party dilemma. I understand the desire to shut it down because a statement has to be made, but I also understand people who are in the government being afraid that shutting it down is exactly what the Republican Party wants so they can take more power. Guys like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the rest of the billionaires in his cabinet are creating a new Gilded Age. So let me give you a little history lesson. The late 1800s and the early 1900s were called the Gilded Age because the billionaires, who were then the millionaires probably, were in charge and they were greedy. And greed is a singular American problem that needs to be cured. I'm not sure it can ever be cured, but the American people need to remain engaged to make sure that it does not infect our society again. Many historians believe that the conditions created by the Gilded Age, which was income inequality, which is exactly what we talk about today, created the climate for the Great Depression. And there is no question that we are headed for a recession under Donald Trump's policies and possibly another depression. So let me tell you what happened. The American people defeated that. The American people defeated that. They didn't rely on a party to defeat that. The party didn't give you Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. The people's demand got the Democratic Party to deliver those to you. And let me make it clear. Let me make it clear. The reason we have presidential term limits is because Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the great FDR, who gave you the New Deal after the Depression, who gave you Social Security, who delivered Social Security because we, the people, demanded it, was so popular that he served 4 terms as president. That didn't go over so well for the conservatives. Okay, they were afraid of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So here we are again. And we need to fight. The people need to push this, regardless of what happens with this vote today. You know what? This vote may not go through. Bernie Sanders stated last night he's voting no. There will be other Democrats that vote no. Will they have enough people to pass this budget? And this is a 6-month extension, by the way. Okay, a 6-month extension because the Republicans have refused to do their job. They can't put together a budget that will fly because they are incapable of doing it, because they want to serve the oligarchs. The American people need to remain engaged. I see far too many Americans checking out, okay? I see far too many Americans deciding now that they don't want to support the Democratic Party because they're not standing up. Well, you know what? They actually are standing up. The fact of the matter is they have been standing up. They've blocked bills in the Senate that would have been devastating, okay? But they have little legislative power right now. Because why? Because in spite of the fact that Donald Trump telegraphed all of this, he telegraphed all of this, just as he telegraphed the overturn of Roe. The American people chose to stay home to the tune of 90 million voters. This is not just the number I'm making up. These are things that are counted as part of the election process, okay? These are real numbers. And I have put these articles in before in the YouTube versions of these videos, and I will put them in again. What we are looking at here is what happens when we have low voter turnout. The way we lost the House in 2022 was low voter turnout. Low voter turnout. We have got to stop that nonsense, and we have got to keep the pressure up on the streets, on the phones, in postcards, in emails. This is going to be an exhausting battle. I'm already tired. We're 6 or 7 weeks in. It feels like 100 fucking years. But we cannot relent. And we have got to make sure the Republicans are removed from office. That is the solution to this problem. And yes, some of the Democrats are past their prime. We know this, okay? We know this. But you know something? I have gone back and forth on this term limit thing. And you know what? If we had term limits, we wouldn't have Bernie Sanders right now fighting for us, or AOC for that matter. She's in her third term already. Okay, people want her to be president. She would already be out if we had 2 term limits, because actually the Congress only gets 2 years. That's not enough time to get any head of steam up on anything. So we need the people to remain engaged. We are the term limits. You're unhappy with Chuck Schumer? Push to have him primaried. Push the New York Democrats to have him primaried with a more progressive candidate. That's what you do. People are now today calling for AOC to challenge him. I'm not sure that's the right decision yet. That's her decision, by the way. But we can certainly do better in the Democratic Party, and we need to make that Democratic Party the party of the people, the party that we want. Because at the end of the day, we have the Democrats and the Republicans. One party has advanced the people's cause, and it is the people's cause. It is the people's voice that matters, okay? They do not deliver this stuff on their own. They deliver it in response to what we demand. Okay. And then there's another party who doesn't respect the people at all, not even their own voters. So I say to you, if you're a Latino and you voted for Trump, you ought to think twice. You ought to have learned your lesson by now. If you're a woman and you voted for Trump, shame on you. Even after all of the assaults on your rights, you turned around. 53% of white women voted for Trump in November. Shameful. Absolutely, positively shameful. What did you think you were gaining? Zero. In fact, he's going to continue to victimize you. If you are a farmer and you voted for Trump, and then he destroyed U.S. aid and he's taken away 30% of what you supply the world, hurting your business and your farm. A man who has a clown at the head of Health and Human Services, who has no plan to fight measles, no plan to fight anything in the healthcare arena except telling you that taking vitamin A is your solution. Shame on you. We, the people, need to be the voice. We have defeated the Gilded Age before. We are in a new Gilded Age. The American people need to wake up. They need to stop looking at memes. I'm telling you, it has been the stupefaction of the American people. Memes are the stupefaction of the American people. The devil in everything that is going on here is in the details. Okay, we have MAGA, Make America Great Again. We have RFK's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. Now we have me, MARA, Make America Read Again. People, we need to remain engaged. There is no checking out. There is no making the Democrats pay the price at the polls, because this will ensure a dictatorship in America. He predicted it. You are living it now. There's one way out. I will talk to you later.